Hi guys, my name's Joey. Welcome back, or welcome. It's only my second video, so there's not much to come back to, but today I want to talk about, so originally it was going to be my top 5 favourite books that I have in my collection. My collection's not very big because I donated a lot of my books. So I was going to do a top 5, but while I was picking them, I had them in piles of like young adult / young adult fantasy, and then more like the young adult fantasy and then the romancy young adults. And I was like, I just want to pull more of these young adult fantasies. So what I'm going to talk about is my top 5 young adult fantasy books that I have in my collection. I have so many favourites and it's really hard to pick because I love so many books, and I actually donated heaps that I kind of regret donating now because I fell out of the love for it. So I was like, oh, I don't want to keep these books, I'm never going to read them again. So I donated probably half of my books because I was like, yeah, I'm probably never going to read these, and I just kept my favourites. And now I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I didn't do that. And I even donated probably like 10 or 20 books that I haven't read, brand new books I hadn't even opened. But it's okay because the money went to a good cause, and if I want to read it, I'll just buy it again. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, this is just going to be about my top 5 young adult fantasy books. So the book I'm going to start with is Whisper by Lynette. If you watched my last video, you would know that I mentioned this book as one that's really good. And I couldn't find it at the time, but my mum had it. She was just borrowing it. And then the Weapon, the second book, was hidden in my bookshelf. But I do have them. I didn't donate them. They're all good. I actually read this before Akane, so the book that my previous video was about. I didn't even know about Akane. I read this and I was like, she's an amazing author, so I had to go see if she had other books, and she had a whole series. Anyway, back to Whisper. So this book's really cool. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I like where it's set. You don't find out for a little while. But basically, someone who was referred to as Jane Doe, because she won't tell them her real name, is in a facility being tested on, and she doesn't really know why she's there. Well, she does, but she won't give it up. She has this big secret, and so she has a big secret, and they're just testing and prodding and trying to get her to tell them, and she won't open her mouth. And it's been how many days? It's been 2 years, 6 months, 14 days, 11 hours, and 16 minutes. And she's got all these evaluators, but then there's a point where they go, okay, we're going to do something different. They're going to put her with this trainer that no one else gets, and if you don't improve in the next 30 days, you're gone. And by gone, I don't mean you kicked out. It's a secret facility. She's gone. But it's really good, and once you find out this secret, once it's revealed, the whole book, it's just like, wow. Yeah, I'm really bad at explaining things. I don't know why I'm doing these videos, but it's honestly so good. And like I said, Lynette is such a good author. She knows how to tell a story. She knows what she wants to tell, and she tells it, and you read it and you go, oh, okay. But it's so cool, and it's a 2-part series, so it goes Whisper then Weapon. I do prefer Whisper over Weapon. Weapon did feel a little bit rushed, somewhat unnecessary, not unnecessary, it was a little bit predictable as well, but that's okay. I enjoyed Weapon, but Whisper is really good. I would really recommend it. The next book, the next book I'm gonna put in as one of my top 5 is The Selection by Kira Cass. It is a little bit younger, so it is young adult, but it is a little bit younger. But in saying that, I still enjoyed it, and I've read this maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I was worried that it would be too young for me, but my friend Chelsea, her mum loved it, and I was like, oh well, it's got to be okay for me to read. Not that it wouldn't be, because it doesn't matter who it's aimed at. Anyone can enjoy a book, but I can find that if a book is targeted to like early high schools, so like the younger 12-13-year-olds, I can be a little bit like, it's a little bit boring, and it is young, and I can read it and I can tell it's not targeted to me. But this book does not feel like that. It is so interesting. It's a, oh, I don't want to read it again now. It's basically a competition to win, it's like The Bachelor, but in a royal world, royal dystopian world. Dystopian, is that the right word? Probably not the right word. I do know what it means. Sorry, it's been a really long day at work. I still have a migraine. Okay, let's just, well, not a migraine, a headache. I just need a minute. Okay, so basically it's like The Bachelor, but it's princesses who are competing for his love, and Prince Maxon, and he has to choose. But it's it might sound a bit like lovey-dovey or whatever, but it's actually really cool. There's a lot more to it than that. Oh, it is dystopian, so it's dystopian on the back. That's why I said dystopian, because it says it on the back. Anyway, and even like, it's really good. And then there is more in the series. So there's the Elite and the One, and then there's like a spin-off of the series, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. I did like that one. I did donate that part of the series, but I kept the selection, the Elite and the One, because it's really, really good. I would really recommend it. And if you want like by the way, if you want like a deeper analysis or review on any of these books, just let me know. I may have to read it again, but I would love to do it. I haven't read this in a while, so it can be hard to recall, but I know that I loved it, and I'm really tempted to read it again now. Okay, if you watched my last video, you already know what I'm going to talk about. Akane Lynette Noni's other series that is out. So she currently I think she only has the Madoran Chronicles, 6 books, and the Whisper and Weapon series, which is 2 books which are published. She's writing The Prison Healer. She's writing a novel with Throne of Glass writer. I can't remember her name. I haven't read Throne of Glass. If I should, let me know down there, because I've been tempted, but people have said it's not good, and then I've had really good people say it's really good, so I need to know if it's good before I invest in a whole series, because yeah. Anyway, so Akane is so good. I'm not going to speak much about it. I did a bit of a muddled review recommendation thing as my first video. It's amazing. I'm reading Raylia, so the second book. I just can't put it down. I wanted to do like a review of that, but I was like, I should break it up or finish reading it first, because I haven't finished it again. I've read it all, but it's really cool, and I would really recommend, if you want to know more about it, just check out my other video. I'll link it down below. Not that it's gonna be hard to find. Okay, so let's talk about Red Queen. So there's basically, I don't want to say races. It's kind of more like 2 classes, but there is a difference to them physically. So there's the Reds and the Silvers because of their blood colour, I believe. It's been a long time since I read this. I hope I'm not getting it wrong, but this is what I remember. So there's the Red Blood, who are the servants, the commoners that they don't mean anything. And then there's the Silvers, who are your royals, the elites, the rich. So it's basically the Reds are the poor and the Silvers are the elites. And then this girl Mare, she is working in the palace, I believe. I'm pretty sure she is. And she has this deadly power, but I don't know if she knew she had it at the time. I can't remember. So Mare has to hide in plain sight as the Silvers, so the royal family. They realise that she's the long-lost Silver Princess, and she needs to be really careful because people don't want her there. They don't want a red with the Silvers or a half red, half silver. It is a lot about race. It's a really good book. It's a really good series. I know that for some people it's hard to get into that. Because I was talking to my friend when she was reading it, She's like, Joey, it's not that good. I just don't want to keep reading it. And I was like, please, just wait for that shoe to drop, please. And she was like, all right. And then she persevered. I can't remember how long into the book it is, but she did it. And then she was like, wow, this is a really good book. I was like, yes, I told you, you just got to give it a chance. So the first bit can seem a little bit slow, but you need to just give it a chance. And I promise it is a good book. It's by Victoria Aveyard. It's really good. And finally, so this is a little bit of a cheat just because I only own this book in a series box, like a series, like this is 3 books because it's all I could get my hands on. I really wanted to read it, but they didn't have the separate books. So, Trill. I think, let's find out what the first book's called. Okay, so the first book is called Switch, second book is Torn, and the third book, I already forgot it, is Ascend. So it's by Amanda Hocking. It's really cool. Let me just have a sip of my coffee. I'm drinking this like dumb lamb. Oh, it's cold. Okay. Oh, cold. I don't like cold coffee. Okay. So, Wendy, the main character. So this is about changelings. If you don't know what they are, they're a big part of like fantasy or young adult fantasy or I don't know. But basically they are switched at birth. So like a human is switched with like the magical creature so that they're raised and can like take the family's money. So they'll usually be put into like a wealthy family so that once they're 18, they take them back and then they can access their money. Well, I don't know if that's how it always is, but that's why it is like this in Trill. And then they can take because in America, a lot of parents have like their trust funds, so they can access their trust fund, but they don't ever actually give the other kid back because they've grown up in this world. True. So, but basically in this book, I think there's 2 people. So I can't even explain. I want to read. This is really hard for me to film just because every book I pick up and I go, this is a really good book, it makes me just want to stop, open and start reading it. I have a problem. So someone has to come and collect her, which sounds really weird. She has no idea she's been swapped out. So they come and like somewhat hunt them down to take them home, and they have to convince them, and then they leave their family pretty much forever. But there's this other group that was trying to hunt them. I can't remember what they're called or why. I think they might have been trying to take them to another city or something. They wanted their wealth. But there's a lot more to Wendy than you think. Well, than you're told at the beginning. I'm butchering this book, aren't I? Look, I'm not going to say much. If you want to know more about this, either read it or tell me and I will reread it for you. I can reread it in a couple of days. If you guys want me to do a better analysis of these books, please let me know. I promise I will read them. I will read them quickly because I enjoy reading. I'll even take notes or something just to make sure that I don't go over here like I am now. Because I just struggle. I tend to mix up a lot of stories together just because I was reading at one point, especially in high school, I was reading a book every 2 or 3 days, which I know is not a lot, but it's not a lot, especially for someone that's at school. I just come home, read, and then go to sleep. But I'm gonna stop talking about Trill. But Trill is just because I'm gonna completely butcher it. I haven't read this in a really long, at least a year or 2. We're gonna stop it there. So that was my top 5 young adult fantasy books. If you have any suggestions of young adult fantasy books that you think I might like, or that you want me to read and review, or anything, any book even. But if you have any book suggestions for me, because I do struggle to find new books and give new books a chance, please let me know because I would really love your suggestions. So just comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. I may have read it, I may have not, but doesn't mean I won't read it again, or I just need I need you guys to just let me know because I would love suggestions. I love getting book suggestions. But yeah, let me know if there's any books you want me to review, any books you want me to read. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe. You can hit the notification bell. I'm gonna try and keep this up. I just really enjoy doing these videos. I like talking to you guys and letting people know what's going on up here about books, because I don't have a lot of people to talk about books with. But yeah, if you want to keep watching these and you have any recommendations, just subscribe and let me know what you want to see. Thanks for watching. Bye.